Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it Seeing Even the Judgement. This has to do with a question someone asked. The person says, "Hi Nick, I've been seeing this idea creep in for a few days now. Most people these days are miserable to a greater or lesser extent. I see moments of light in them, but it's soon overshadowed by that attitude of fighting like dogs over a steak. And dogs, to continue the analogy, I love them. But when they bring out that sinister unconscious side, I can't help but feel disgust or pity, like poor beasts who don't understand anything. I know it's something that creeps in, just another projection, like the people are good one. I find it difficult to settle into non-judgment. Well, many things affect me on a daily basis, and I feel a bit like a fake trying to deny what I feel so I am not another miserable person like them and do wrong. I don't know. See if you can get me out of this closed loop of judgment and karmas. Thanks." Okay, well, this is the answer that I offered in writing, and then we'll elaborate a bit. I said, first of all, who's talking about denying or suppressing or being a fake? Seeing is just that. It's even seeing judgment when arises. If the judgment that a person is a beast arises, that's just a thought being seen. You keep speaking to me from your position as an individual who now says that is seeing or judging or whatever. The investigation is not to see things differently. The investigation is to see if you can find that me who says it is seeing whatever the thought is telling you. This isn't for you to understand. It's simply pointing out the obvious. If right now you don't identify with any thought, what remains? And in what remains, in that background, regardless of what images or thoughts seems to appear, including any judgment, is that background altered in any way? Well, the background never changes, and that's where the message is pointing. As long as that you keeps trying to understand everything, asking questions without investigating where the message is pointing, what you'll do is keep identifying with that you who will keep asking questions. Because within the world of appearances, projection, or whatever you want to call it, scenarios, feelings, sensations, thoughts, and everything you can imagine will continue to emerge, ignoring the underlying reality, which is what is at all times, and you are that. In other words, what we're pointing to here is the fact that you are. Right now you cannot not be. And the only thing that seems to overshadow that is thought, beginning with the thought, I am this individual. When that is clearly investigated, then thoughts will appear according to the conditioning. You know, if you've been conditioned to look in a particular way and that's how you feel, that, I don't know, that's the conditioning, that's how you grew up, that's what you've learned. It doesn't matter how you learned it. And then you see people who may look in a different way. A judgment may arise that says, look at that person looking in a different way. It's just a thought. That doesn't make you a bad person. It just simply is, it's a thought. You see? And if you're looking at the thought as such, the thought will continue its journey. Because all sorts of thoughts will appear. We were raised in a culture, in an environment that may gave rise to all sorts of judgments, you know? And when we get into the recognition of what I am, even then, a lot of judgments will come up about, you know, that may take the appearance of arrogance. Oh, look, I'm now I know better and you don't. No, these are thoughts. That's fine. Let them be. We're not here to fight with them or anything. We're not trying to make any issue or with them. We're just noticing that they're just thoughts. And if you don't believe the content of the mind, if you don't believe the thoughts, now the judgment itself is not being judged. You see, you're not trying to lay on top one thought on top of the other one. First there's a judgment, and now there's the judgment for having judged. No, just don't worry about it. Just notice that life is, and the investigation is to remember that I am. This is what these videos are about, you see. And yes, in the world of appearances, in the world of contrast, we will see all sorts of different people, all sorts of different behavior. Yes, that will be seen, but now they are seen, they're not judged, because the mind is no longer project meaning onto anything. Everything is seen as what is. See? But as long as there's the idea that this is who I am, then everything is seen, or should I say judged, in comparison to me. You see? Now you're just being. It's a form of disappearing while you're still in the world of appearances. So you're still in the crowd. I mean, you're still a part of the crowd, but you don't behave like them anymore. That's why I wrote the book, You're Not Crazy, you're healing, you see. Because in reality, now you're seeing through the veil of the projection, because you're not believing the content of the mind. Consequently, you're not projecting meaning onto anything. The conceptual mind will be used for practical reasons. Hey, give me the mobile phone that is on the table. Well, I have to judge, I have to know what a mobile phone is, how does it look like, and what a table is, so that I can go ahead and pick that thing called the mobile phone, which is on top of that thing called the table, and then that is functional. But there's no issue with that. And if I find myself, or say a thought of judgment may rises through this character, now it can be seen, and it does not trap me psychologically, emotionally. And if I see an emotion coming up and the mind is trying to say this emotion is coming up because this thought, whatever, I can see that is a thought judging a feeling or a sensation, and in that moment I can see the sensation coming up. It means absolutely nothing. The thought comes up, means absolutely nothing, and I remain as I am. And that is what these videos are pointing to, that you are. Remaining as I am is just simply the recognition that you always are, that I always am. It just so happens is that the I am is overshadowed by the thoughts. Now when the thoughts are not believed in, the I am remains by not being overshadowed by the thoughts. That is what is referred to as the peace that passes all understanding, and we're pointing to that. And right now we can put it to the test. This is not esoteric, this is not theoretical, this is very, very practical. Right now, just don't believe any thoughts. Let them be. They will be there. You see, even thoughts of judgment, it doesn't matter. Let them be there. Just don't identify with them. See? In that beingness, what remains? Don't answer. If you answer the question, you went back to the mind. I'm just pointing to the obvious. I'm pointing to what is. You see? Can you find that you claim yourself to be? Yeah, sensations may appear, and there seems to be a closeness to it, and you think this is me. Yeah, I feel that I exist, whatever. Well, existence is the presence itself. But when you add on to it, you know, this body is who I am, these thoughts are mine and these are my thoughts. No, thoughts appear. And the body is just simply, again, an appearance in what you are, which is beyond words. Yeah, but if I hit the body, it hurts. Again, the feeling is experience, okay? But it's just simply another sensation that is experienced in the wholeness, which is what you are. Because have you been in a situation, it happened to me, but just in case, where let's say you got caught, like for example, when I was a kid, I remember that, again, see, these are thoughts that we use now for practical reasons, but as long as I don't believe in them, you know, it's just basically an analogy that is coming through. But this is not an analogy, this is supposedly something that did happen, but actually never did, because it's just a thought. But again, here's what happened, or seems to have happened. When I was a kid, I fell on glass. You see, a bottle broke and I fell on top of it. And I didn't feel anything. Didn't notice anything. And that's fine, you see? Nothing, I didn't feel anything. And then all of a sudden, I look at my arm and the arm is bleeding. And when I look back, I saw that there's two, holes in there. But you see, I didn't notice they were there until I saw them. See? So technically speaking, I wasn't feeling anything. But when the mind registered and looked at something, that's when the feeling came up. But you see, the feeling was just basically a sensation that the mind had something to attach to. And it gave a reason, oh, I'm feeling because of this. But I didn't even notice it. So then we went to the hospital, we took care of some stitches, and that's it. I'll tell you another story. This one I like, it's a classic. I have a very good friend in Argentina that he told me this story, and he's also in this same journey that we are, And he said he had a brand new car, and a friend of his came in the car, but he didn't realize that he stepped on a dog poop. Okay, he stepped on dog crap, but he didn't realize that. So they get in the car and they're just kind of relaxing, having fun, blah blah blah, and everything. And that's it. They didn't notice anything. Then my friend noticed his foot and he saw the poop of the dog. The moment they saw that, he said that the smell was so overwhelming they had to open the windows and everything. They had to get out of the car. But you see, when they didn't see it, they didn't smell it. There was no recognition, there was no cognizing of anything. So then, is it the smell really there? Was it true? Or the conceptual mind somehow had anything to do with that? See, this is all a mystery, and we don't need to get into any of that. I don't want to try to make a channel on science of trying to find the narrow science of anything. No, this is simple. Let's go to the simplicity of this. Right now, if there's no identification with thoughts, all that there is isness. And this is where these videos are pointing to. And this isness, if there's any suffering, if there's any worry, if there's any fear, is there any guilt? No. All that there is what is. That doesn't make you a doormat or a martyr or something. That just makes you someone who's conscious. See? And consequently, yeah, life is continued to be lived, but it's not suffered. It's just life unfolding. Right now, for example, when I woke up this morning, well, the scenarios begins to appear and thoughts do appear and actions are taken and everything. But none of that is taken as personal. It's just what happens. This video is what happens. Life is what happens. And if I don't identify with the content of the mind who's trying to translate and evaluate everything, then life is just simply an unfolding movie, a theater, a play. And if pain appears, well, pain appears. And if pleasure appears, pleasure appears. And if I don't let the mind try to somehow make sense of any of that, then you see life unfolding. Then when the character goes to bed at night, the whole thing disappears. There's no me. There's just what is. And then if the character wakes up the next morning, well, it seems to be that that's how life gives some kind of sense of continuity to this dream. So we need the thoughts and everything that the mind comes up with to make sense of that I am this. That's why I can tell you a story of something that supposedly happened when I was a child. But this is just a construct. It's a construct of the mind in order to make sense of this thing. Imagine that you wake up in the morning and you're a little girl named Sally, 15 years of age, and then you go to bed, and then the next morning you wake up as a guy named Joe, 52 years of age, and then the next morning you wake up as a grandmother named Sabrina with 82 years of age, and then the next morning you wake up as a kid called Timothy, 4 years of age. You know, it doesn't make any sense. So there have to be some sort of continuity to make sense of all of this. Well, we can live with that, within that continuity without any problem. All we need to do is just see it for what it is. Life appears, thoughts are translating. If I don't believe the content of the mind, then the translation is useful for practical reasons, and that's about it. But you don't make anything special of it. Nothing is important, nothing matters. So if the phone is stolen, the phone is stolen. If I'm feeling that, oh my God, I felt that something was taken away from me, then that is mine interpreting that feeling. So the feeling is seen as such, the thought is seen as such, and then the feeling goes, and the thought goes, and then life continues on its own. And if I need to buy another phone, I'll buy another phone. But everything is done, you know, everything, you see life unfolding, the scenarios present themselves, and you remain neutral. You remain as you are. This is what this is pointing to. This is very simple. I mean, not say that it's easy because there's a lot of conditioning, but in reality, if you look at it, it's very simple. Right now, if you don't identify with any thoughts, I didn't say they won't be there. I'm just pointing. Right now, if you don't identify with any thoughts, what remains? Well, I mean, how complicated you want to make this? You see? The only thing that makes it complicated is that you still believe that you are the one who's not identified with the thought. You see? You need thoughts to keep holding on to the belief that you are this seeming individual. This is what makes it difficult. Yeah, I want a mind that is clear, but I want to keep holding on to my sense of identity. I want to still believing that I'm me, and I'm the person who have accomplished these things. I just want a life more comfortable. Well, the thing is that life is birth and then the death of it. That's what well, not life itself, the character is what I mean. And therefore, as long as the identification with the character remains, well, there's going to be ups and downs. That's the nature of the human experience. That's what it's like to be a human being. But you are not a human being. You are a being who's playing the role of a human. When you know that your being, now whatever happens to the human does not affect the beingness. That's the background that we're talking about here. That's where I'm pointing to. We're just remembering that we are, and that's it. This is not to be talked about. This is just the obvious. Right now you cannot not be, therefore you are. Remain as you are, and you're happy, you're at peace. I think Nisargadatta Maharaj used to say, the body is destined, you know, to do whatever life wants to do with it, but I remain as I am. Well, the invitation in these videos is not to figure out what to do with the body. That's take care of itself. The invitation in these videos is to remind us, I am. See? I am. Don't color it with another thought, oh, this is peace, this is tranquility. Don't label it anything, just I am. Don't identify with any thoughts, don't believe any thoughts. See, I am. And that is what remains, and that's what you are. And now, see how life unfolds. You see how you can do everything from this I am. Feeling sensations appear in this I am. Life unfolds in this I am. You see? And you remain as I am. Doesn't take any effort to be. Doesn't take any effort to remain as I am. You see? Remaining as I am while life unfolds. The character do what it does. But the fact is that I am. Rest in that. That's all. Okay, I hope this video helped. I don't know. In the meantime, as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.